Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto, and today we're going to make this modular hexagon wine rack. Check it. Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Today we're going to make a wine rack to hold a few bottles of wine, somewhere between 5 and 7, depending on how much wood we have. I did a Google image search for mid-century modern wine rack, and the thing that keeps coming up is these hexagon shapes. And so I'm going to play off of that with some cherry, but try to come up with something that's my own and unique. I got some 3/4 inch cherry from Kencraft hardwoods. I've already gone ahead and resawed it down to just over a 1/2 inch and then planed it down to a 1/2 inch. If you don't have a bandsaw big enough, you can just plane it down, or you could buy 1/2 inch material, but resawing it first gives me these little extra pieces here that I can use for veneer in the future. Next thing we need to do is take our 1/2 inch cherry boards over to the table saw and start cutting up some angles. All right, so we got everything cut up over at the table saw. I used my crosscut sled to cut everything to length, around 10 inches or so. And now we're going to glue it up. We're going to keep it nice and simple. We're just going to use some masking tape. So I have some tape down here on a board. I'm using this board because it's nice and flat. And I'm just going to set my boards on top of that. I'm not going to use a lot of glue, just a little bit, because I don't want it all squeezing out on the inside, because the inside will be hard to clean up. You can roll this up like Cheech and Chong.
Dave's not here.
Pull that tight. There we go. I'm going to wipe off my glue. And we'll just put a couple more pieces of tape on here. As tight as I can get it, but not worrying too much. Cool. We'll let them dry for a little bit. So we're over here in the bandsaw, and we're going to use this just to clean up the edges here. You can do this by hand. If you have a disc sander, you could do it that way. Table saw, doesn't matter. We're over here at the router table. I have a chamfer bit installed in here, and we're going to route a 45-degree chamfer all the way around the edges, and that plays with the continuity of all the, it makes it look cool. We cut a bunch of triangles out over on the laser cutter. We got these little pieces of plywood triangles that we're going to glue together and then insert between the pieces. And we're going to use that to bond everything together. For the outside faces that we'll be showing, we also cut some blue acrylic. You don't have to use acrylic, and you don't have to use a laser cutter. You could definitely use any wood that you want and cut it out over on the table saw, but I thought I'd be all fancy pants and do it this way. So the first thing I need to do is glue these together and then glue them in. I'm going to use a combination of wood glue and CA glue. Wood glue for strength, CA glue for quickness. Just clamp those together for a minute. Nobody's ever gonna see this, so this can be as messy as we want it to be. It's gonna be inside, and that's all that's gonna hold these pieces together are these little triangles. Whoa, that's a lot of glue.
That's what she said.
If it's set back just a little bit and there's a little gap, it won't be noticeable because the shadows will cover that up. So we have the bottom section and the middle section glued up. I'm just going to add some glue on there and set this right on top and use its own weight as the clamp. And then we'll glue these two pieces in. We'll rub some oil on there and we'll call it a day. Now the trick is to get it on there first try without sliding glue all over the place. Looking good, looking good. While we're waiting for this to dry, let me tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. Squarespace Templates makes creating a powerful online identity even easier. Each template is a starting point for a wide range of products, whether you're pursuing your side hustle or promoting your main gig. Create a beautiful website with Squarespace's all-in-one platform. There's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. Squarespace provides award-winning 24/7 customer support. And it's never been easier to set up a store and sell online. Squarespace allows you to manage your products, orders, and inventory easily. Squarespace makes it quick and simple to get you up and going without knowing a thing about code, the cloud, or servers. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com and go to squarespace.com/makesomething to get 10% off your first purchase. In our last Squarespace spot, I asked you guys to send me some of your Squarespace links, and a few of you did. Check out Against the Grain AZ, Z Loves Low, and Brian Mizrahi Design. So if you have a Squarespace site, or if you don't have a Squarespace site, check the link down below for a free trial and send me your links, and on January 11th, I will highlight some of your work. Think it, dream it, make it with Squarespace. All right, let's get back to this project, put some oil on it, and finish it up. Well, there it is. It's all done, made out of beautiful cherry. This will darken with age, gets better with age, just like a fine wine. It appears that I got my angles perfect on a table saw, which doesn't usually happen for me because I don't really have any gaps, and all the angles went together just fine. You can spin this around and you can put them in this way, and it has a cool look that way as well. I really like the chamfer around the edges. It adds to all the angles on there. We did play around with different configurations, and we had it upside down and decided this simple triangular stack was the best. It kind of represents the shapes of the holes and the triangles on there. You don't have to have a laser cutter to make the triangles in there. It was just easier for me. I did use 1/8 inch plywood and stack them. It's only because I didn't have any other material. If I would have had 1/2 inch plywood, I would have used that for all the little inserts, but I only had 1/8, so I just stacked them up. And really like the turquoise blue on there. I think that looks great. But you could easily do that with wood. You could cut that out on the table saw or bandsaw, and you could paint it, or you could have a contrasting wood. I think that would look good with like a really dark wood, like a wenge or walnut. Hopefully by the time you see this, there are plans available on my website at makesomething.tv. I also have all kinds of other plans there, and books and t-shirts and stickers, so check out makesomething.tv. I would like to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. That promotional link is down in the description, as well as all the tools and supplies that I use for this. The wood comes from Kencraft Company, my local hardwood supplier here in Toledo, Ohio, but they do sell online at kencraftcompany.com. Please check them out. They're awesome people, completely family-run business. They treat me well, and I think you'll like their selection. if you're into winemaking or if you're just into seeing how cool things are made, check out the channel How to Make Everything. They made this bottle of wine right here and they make it from scratch. They do an amazing job. Some of their videos include how to make a $1,500 sandwich in only 6 months, how to make chocolate, how to make a quilt pen, a glass bottle, how to make a suit from scratch, how to make a sandwich from scratch, how to make a bottle from scratch, how to make beer from scratch. They do everything the old school way, starting with nothing. I will have a link to their YouTube channel down in the description, as well as one of the cards at the end of this video. Cheers. All right, folks, that is it. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.